That's better. And I suppose I should start this off by offering you an apology. And the apology is this has been sitting here for almost exactly 4 months. And I always kind of had it on the agenda, and then I was like, I'll just do it in sequence. And ultimately, I've decided to get this out now. In fact, this is Thursday night. I might have this thing as a Saturday video. In part, there's something I don't know about it, but you're thinking 4 months, that's pretty quick for this guy, must be cool. It is, you'll want to see it, but I was thinking I'm going to make a standalone video on it, make it short and sweet. If you're new here, timestamps, they're your friend, feel free to use them. But then I realized that on that haul, I didn't really have much, and what I have is also kind of special. And it'll all make sense when it makes sense to you. But essentially, as you should know, July 4th, at least here in America, I don't celebrate the 4th of July. I celebrate Independence Day. That's right. It always kind of irks me when you see people and companies and corporate spills. They'll never use the term Independence Day, just like they never use the term Christmas, right? Yes, it's July 4th. There's a July 4th in England, and I don't think they're celebrating quite like we are because it's the 4th of July. Independence Day is what makes it significant. How that ties in here, you ask, is with KC Tool putting their spin on things. And what they actually do, at least since I've been buying in recent years, every Independence Day, July 4th, weekend sometimes, it's usually the day of, if you place an order, and I think it can be any order, it doesn't have to be like some crazy stuff, but if you place an order, you get a free bottle opener. And that, my friends, actually, believe it or not, I had this item. I'm like, do I really want to get it? And I've put it off for a while. And I really wanted the bottle opener. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it. It's simple. So, what is it, you ask? It is this. Pure quality. You're thinking like, pure quality. What are you talking about here? This is from... I want to say Heuer. I think it's Heuer, like journeyman quarterback Heuer, right? But Brockhaus Heuer, so that's what we'll go with. We got Berger right that way. So basically the vise, the really cool vise, you always would only see like some old, cuckoo clock dude in town or on Garage Journal or something. KC Tool started carrying them. And they also, if you're thinking like, what, you idiot, does this have to do with anything? Well, the backside... which is not in my native language, has the bottle opener. I know there's a ton of you that collect bottle openers. This is really cool, and you're like, oh, yeah, I wish I would have known about this, Mr. German Tool over here on YouTube. I would have totally gotten one of those. Hey, I hope you do, right? The good news is, if you see that and you're like, I must have that now, and you're thinking you're going to have to go on eBay or jump through hoops on the jungle site and find something in Germany and pay tariffs out the wazoni, that's available at KC Tool. Part number BH705325, $12.99. Kind of a little spendy for a bottle opener in my opinion, but again, I'm not like a hardcore collector, and it's actually pretty cool. It's kind of a novelty, but also has a lot of functionality should you need it. Might need a can opener here to go along with it, but I think it's actually pretty cool. Again, I got that thing free. I hope a lot of you did too. But if you're thinking like, oh man, that's perfect for me, or man, my father-in-law or my uncle or grandpa, they're super into bottle openers, there's no way they have that one. It is available. It's $12.99. Would make a great gift. Do with that what you will. At the time, I think I'd gotten this already. At the time, I was going through like key crises. And by that, I mean it quite literally with keys. And so I picked that up. It is part number KCT. Are you sitting down? Keytag. That's right. $7.99 is the price. It might have actually been on sale. I'm a huge fan of the style villa, aviation style with the red. That's bailed me out so many times. If I walked out of the shop right now, it's actually a super moon, like the beaver moon. So it's a little brighter than usual. But if I drop that, I have a way better chance of finding it with the bright color. The time I had ordered this, again, I guess I had already had one, and when I did a tool haul, I did the task that I needed to. But now I've got this one showcased, and we can go to town. Again, super reasonable, super gifty, and they do kind of tie in with this. However, you should know, don't get mad, I told you to use the timestamps. Anytime we place an order, even if it's just to get a free bottle opener or settle a key crisis, you get a bit of thanks currently shipping as a number 2 from Wera, which is cool because you get the Take It Easy tool finder customized if you never pay attention to the actual bit. It's got the red banding for Phillips, but instead of having 2 on it for number 2, it's got KC Tools logo. Cool stuff there. And of course, we have the last thing before we can proceed to the feature of this video. The mystery sticker. That's right, not just any mystery sticker. At this point in time, I think, yeah, they had made the transfer, literally transfer, to the metal transfer. These are quite popular, and we're going to see what we get. Checklist is in every bag. I get a lot of questions like, how'd you get that checklist? Well, it's in the bag, you know. Are you ready? What do we have? I think I know. I think if we flip this over and put this on this side, I think we're going to have a consonant that's after L and before P. If you guessed NWS, you nailed it. So NWS, do we have it yet? Let's get the master checklist. Only sad thing about this checklist is that it's a little difficult to see my checks, but it's metal, so it's okay. We did already have NWS. That is the first dupe. Again, feel free to let me know. You're like, no, NWS, that's the one I need, or I've been trying to get it. It's funny how that works out. But we can now get to the star of the show. In fact, let's just get these out of here. This is literally a one-trick pony. This is an item, as I alluded to, I had wanted to bring in for a very long time, and then an enhancement was made to it, and I wanted to bring it in, but I didn't, and ultimately, I guess on July 4th, I was probably busy, and it's probably one of those things that's like, right after midnight, I thought, okay, let's make this happen, and it was on my mind, and I did it. So, luckily, one of the reasons I didn't crank this out is I did not know the specifics that I wanted to know. And again, you're probably thinking like, well, geez, man, what the heck is going on? I'm losing interest, and yet I'm intrigued, right? I'm great at eliciting that from people, I think. This is Wera's part number, and sadly, I think the price has gone up, but the good thing is it's still there. It'll all make sense shortly. 13,581. Some of you may know that, depending on how deep you are in the Wera ecosystems. But this is what we have. I have not played with this. I have not opened this. I don't know what's inside. And some of you can probably tell. Screwdriver, really? Look closer. Okay, limited edition screwdriver, really? All this build-up for a screwdriver. Well, not quite. You're thinking like, whoa, hey, wait. Could this be a Roto ratchet? That looks quite nice. Well, I hope it does. And what Wera had done, if you follow them on social media, they don't really do the email thing, which is unfortunate, because I oftentimes don't get on social media for months. YouTube, yes. Bookface, Gram, Insta, all that stuff, not all the time. So I usually try to post my stuff, hopefully late Wednesday and late Saturday after the videos drop. But in terms of like me getting to go and, ooh, look at this, they're having a sale, or brand new products launches, not near as often as I would like to. But they came out with the limited edition black. It wasn't just these ratchets. There were some wrenches. And then you're thinking, like, limited edition, how many are there? Can I still get one? That is a big reason I put this video off. I did not know the answers to that. And to put it to you mildly, I still don't know what limited means to Wera in this sense. Growing up, my grandma was super into collectibles. Everything had odds, it's like 1 in 600, or hey, this is limited to 125, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to tell you there's 5,000 of these worldwide. I'd like to tell you there's an allocation of 555 in the United States. I don't know. It could be a production time frame. It could be like, hey, if people buy that, we're going to keep making it for a really long time. I do not know. I literally don't know. I've tried to find the information. There's like one person that's made a video on this. I think they were British. They were a tool collector. They might also sell the tools. And I want to say that dude said 6K. I don't know where that information came from. I don't know if it was like Wera UK or Wera United Kingdom. I don't know. I've asked Colin, and it's like, well, you know, hey, they're here, so they're here. I will tell you, I kind of watched the stock KC tool. It's got like 10 plus or single digits, back orderable or not back orderable. And I'd waited and waited, and, you know, I'd kind of watched it, and a couple would sell, and I'm like, well, you know, would I regret not having it? The answer was no, I wouldn't. But then, like I said, this came along. Maybe there was like a price incentive. I really don't remember. It was 4 months ago. But we pulled the trigger, and I'm just going to go ahead for your viewing enjoyment and crack this open. Again, I was thinking it might have like serial number stuff in here. It does not. Wera Zyklop, if we can find EN, that's me. So, Zyklop Speed, and yes, I'm making you wait to see the gloriousness that is below this wall of text that you probably don't care about. Wera combines the advantages of 5 ratchet types in just one tool: fine-tooth ratchet, flex head ratchet, angle ratchet, and, what does that say, nut-fixing ratchet? This glare is legit. Power ratchet, and more. Besides, the Zyklop can also be used as a screwdriver. That's really, in my opinion, kind of a strong selling point here. You're going to see they're holding it and they're turning it, and you're like, well, is that really that big of a deal? Kind of. In the inline position, the rotating mass design accelerates the fastening process. Right there, we can see the positions. This is important, very important, and it's kind of a turn off to me. So you've got as it delivered, right, just like in the box below. That's side profile. You got like 15-ish or so up. You've got screwdriver mode straight on, very, very prominent with Rotos. You got 15 degrees this way, and you've got 90 the other direction. So the ratchet features a swiveling head that can be released in any position by the slide switches located on both sides. That would be nice. We'll flip this over. 5 degrees. What does that tell you and I? If we can math with 360, 72. Sacred geometry of the tool world, right? Coming up, the reversible ratchet features a fine pitched teeth and small backlash angle of only 5 degrees. Right there, you can kind of see this is your adjustment, this little green segment there. Right there, all Zyklop Speed ratchets feature a thumb wheel that switches quickly and easily between clockwise and anti-clockwise at any position, even 0 degrees. 0 in that case would be like up and down, kind of, you know, your 90 from standard, if you will. Right here, you can see. You're thinking like, whoa, is that a quick release? Well, let's see. A quick press on the release button and fast, easy tool changes are possible at all 5 head positions. There you can kind of see it in action on a little bike. Safety note, the product may only be used... Yes. There we go. This is the limited edition Zyklop Speed 3/8 drive in black. This has got some weight to it. I was not expecting that. Right there, quality control, thank you. Luckily, the adhesive comes off. I was going to be miffed. One of my pet peeves is when you buy a new tool and you've got an idiotic sticker that leaves an adhesive residue. For those of you curious, I love to bag on never getting... We didn't get one. Why? I thought, my apologies, I thought that was a little tattoo looking sticker down there. It is, but it's printed on the box instead of being a sticker sheet. Missed opportunity, I must say. A limited edition black exclusive Wera sticker should have been included, in my opinion. So this is another little novelty there, thinking like, oh hey, is that 3/8 or quarter? Well, rock on, my friend. And yes, I should disclose right now, I bought 3/8. Why? 3/8 is kind of my bread and butter. Yes, quarter is available, and yes, 1/2 inch is available. Surprisingly, This will be our first addition of many to the table. The Pocket Zyklop's, which when it came out, it had a pretty, I thought, robust following, I guess we'll say. It was my first experience with their, roto heads, if you will. And people were always like, I can't believe you don't have that. You don't have one of their roto heads yet? There's a reason I didn't, and that's kind of why I may not be the best person to hype you up on this thing. But I'm kind of surprised they didn't offer the black here. I suppose, especially maybe with this one, if they would just make a black head, granted, you could pull this out, Cerakote it, powder it, whatever. Hopefully, your your enhanced subtle coating there wouldn't be impacting the finish out. But this is about all I've got from Wera to compare. Now, in terms of Wera ratchets, I've also got the Koloss, the giant yellow thing, which I promise you I use not necessarily as a hammer as they intended it. Yes, intended. This is Wera we're dealing with. That thing is like really good for dragging. If you're ever, again, I don't have a lift, so my lift is, involves something with a hydraulic pump and jack stands. Although I did, a couple years back, finally get some race ramps. But anyway, if you're like me and you're on your back, a lot of times stuff rolls off the creeper, or you had something back here and you need it. You're like, man, if my arm is a little bit longer because you're trying to hold something and reach a tool or a fastener that's rolled a little bit. That thing is so good. If they could come out with like a 3D printed attachment to just make that like a squeegee where I could pull items to me, it would be pretty legit. I really do truly use that more in that manner. My only other Wera ratchet is here. I have seen a lot of people that swear by these. They say, oh, it's old school and durable and robust. That's cool. To me, I've just not been a huge fan of it. It's slick. It's heavy. Again, lots of people love them. Not my cup of tea, if I had to be honest. But coming back to this, they've done a really good job here. Like, if I was going to get this, I'm glad I got the black version. It just looks better. It's more up my alley. I'm the same way with cars. Cool thing here, I'm very much like VHA, that 25, that's the year of manufacture. There's our part number. Again, if you love the craft-formed handle, this should be right up your alley. I wish it was just a smidge longer, but it's not terrible. The quick release is blacked out, which is a nice touch. There you can see it in action. Right here, similar design to our Pocket Zyklop's. This kind of looks like pinstriping. Honestly, it's actually directions on how to use the ratchet. Pinstripes would have been cool, but hey, function over form sometimes, I suppose. That is grease, lithium grease. It kind of looked purple. That's why I pulled that up. It's actually clear. For some reason, that's like, I guess the black and the green gives it that glow or something. Anyway, right here, let's do it. 72 tooth. Huh. I think this one's got to be greased up a lot. Very, very quiet. Wasn't expecting that, in part. This, which that feels, the Zyklop Speed feels significantly better. This one, not terrible, but very audible, right? Very smooth on this Pocket Zyklop's, I will say that for it. This one, though, that's like snap-on quiet. Very, very unexpected. It's not the easiest thing to change direction, and you may do it inadvertently, but it is functional. That's oftentimes, regardless of how great a roto may be, you're usually going to find a couple of things that you wish you could bring from another brand. This is actually easy to do, but I'm afraid it might catch and drag on its own. And again, you kind of have to, if you had a switch, right? But they have the quick release, so you kind of sacrifice the ability to have a switch. The switch would be bulky. In this design, we can't have a switch because you're thinking like, hey, roto that thing. I can't. It's locked here. And you're like, oh, we'll turn the lock off. Pull the switch, said pull both sides down and it'll go to any position. Well, you must have to just hold it down and it'll get out of that lock position, right? Yeah, there you go. What? Okay, well, there's the 15 degree. Now show us the free form. Okay, you're like, oh yeah, that's sweet, Wera. Okay, that's like your screwdriver. Note the acoustic change there. Huh, this was deathly quiet moments ago. Now coming in this way, we get our 15 degrees, and we get this, which it does technically work in, but we would be way more likely to do this. So, listen to that. I don't want it to be like a tuning fork effect. Let's switch directions, which we can do. We just did. Interesting. This has gotten louder since we first spun it. That said, speaking of spin, check this out. Let's actually center this up. You know, picture your favorite screwdriver bit or adapter with a bit in it. In fact, do I not have that sitting here? Yeah. This is not an ideal scenario. Well, that's... never mind. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not sure how much time is on this card. This is really cool. This simple plastic sleeve, which is something that I grabbed this for the same reason. You think, oh, that's an ugly extension. You're like, oh, it's locking though. Yeah, that's cool. But this is what's nice about it. The plastic sleeve. Okay. This lets me keep my hand here, and I can turn this. Note if my hand goes here, I create a lot of friction, or I'm just loosely bracing it in some generic position. This is a lot more user intuitive. This is stupid fun, right? And they are correct the way they've designed this. As I start to spin this off axis, what is the weight wanting to do? It's a little bit more heavy on this side. If you ever balance anything, well, it's going to go and find the high spot, right? Balanced here, high spot. So essentially my barely motion, I'm clocking this roughly 90 degrees every time. Now put a little bit of spin in that and you get the idea. Because with rotos, which again I am a huge fan of, you don't just have a traditional, 90-degree action, but you have the ability to freeform. And what I do, let's say we're breaking something free, all right? You snap it loose, and then boom, as soon as I can, I run that thing up. I do the same thing with breaker bars, and I just spin the fastener out. If I'm running something in, maybe it's a bolt going through a spacer to a backside of something, I come in, I run it down, gets to be tight, or it's just clean virgin threads or something and I need to torque it or tighten it. I then swivel the handle down and boom, there you go, right? With this, and some people may love it, again, I do think it's quite nice with everything I've seen so far, but what kills it for me is the deviation from a traditional roto head. Right here. This is Tekton. This is essentially a Pittsburgh. You can find this in I don't know how many colors and how many brands. It's private labeled for people from a factory in Taiwan. Nothing to write home about. These are dirt cheap. They're actually pretty good. I'm not going to lie. But we've got the quick release. These are a little bit easier to articulate, but we don't have this locking in position. However, if I could get that like this, if you had an option of lock in a position or freeform, I'm taking freeform. Number one, this is going to stay every time, straight up and down. But the other thing that I like roto heads for is, say that there is a bracket here. Instead of me having to ratchet in a tight confine, I just jump the bracket, right? And I can come over here, run into a fender, come back, jump it. You get the idea. I've covered this ad nauseum. But to me, that is a massive selling point. Quick comparison here between, because again, take Tekton away. I know they don't sell these anymore, but just go to Harbor Freight this weekend or next time you're in the store. The Wera fully extended. Let's get this one kicked out. Right there with it. Okay, so again, way more expensive. You get the 3-piece set, quarter, 3/8, and half for way less. That looks way cooler, and it would be way better for screw tightening. And if you want a roto that locks in position, this is your ticket. If you're a freeform person like myself, think of a breaker bar, that might be your knock on that front. Coming in, where do we want to go from here? How about this? Okay, I do not have a Carlyle 3/8. Everyone always said, oh, Carlyle makes incredible rotos. The coolest thing on this is that anodized blue quick release. This is quarter. I've got the half. The 3/8 was always priced way higher. I don't know what those people are doing. That's gotten even worse. That's neither here nor there. I can't say this is better than the Harbor Freight, you know, Taiwanese special, you know. Same thing here, the Mac. There were things I found about this, and I was like, yeah, this is half-inch drive, by the way. I've meant to take this to work. I've never done it because I have so many Mac ratchets here, and quite frankly, I don't know. It'll probably eventually make it, but this is kind of the same way. This costs a ton more. It's only available in red. Yeah, I can get my dealer. My dealer's actually not a fan of these, but this is basically just like the Carlyle and the Harbor Freight version. Just a little bit spindier, right? Now, coming in, we can go to Icon. This is why I didn't buy many Icon Generation 1 ratchets. I was like, oh, sweet roto head. The Pittsburgh's pretty dadgum good. This one must be great. This Ratchet Action is disgustingly bad, and it should be a step up over the Pittsburgh. The problem is the Pittsburgh is just pretty freaking good, and it's way less money. This is why, and I haven't seen it drop at SEMA. I don't know if it's probably not high on their priority list. They might have a ton of these. These might be cheap, and other people don't care. I would love to see a G2 Icon Roto head come out, because this, to me, is worse than the far, far less expensive Pittsburgh option, right? So there you go. And this also has like really rough edge. It's just kind of a bad finish, right? Coming in next, let's go to Japan. I so wish this bad mamma jamma right here was available in a modern Zeal variety, a Z-Series take. This is actually pretty good. Koken, if it's comically old, 24, 30, 36 tooth, guess what? It's still ridiculously smooth. Now your swing arc, everything like that's going to suffer, but this is still incredibly smooth. Lots of old protos are the same way. You think, like, oh, that's a junk ratchet. I don't want 36 teeth. Try it. Number one, they're like almost indestructible, but number two, they can be surprisingly smooth. You don't always have to have 70, 90, 72, 80, 88, 90, 120, 345, whatever idiots come up with next. A lot of times these old ratchet designs were perfected and the back drag is negligible. That said, total freeform here, right? Currently, one of my favorites, coming in 3 varieties, is also from Japan with KTC. I did this mainly for the size comparison. Again, I wasn't quite sure what profile we would have here. This is the stubby KTC. Now, in fact, let's get the pocket Zyclops here. Stubby KTC, just about the same size as the pocket Zyclops. Interestingly enough, I've never done that comparison. If I did, I don't recall. The Goldilocks KTC is going to be pretty much spot on. Again, I make these references for you so you can come in and be like, do I want to get that? It's kind of pricey. I love the black. That collar's really cool. You kind of have a rough idea what you're getting, right? So that said, we also have the long variety of the KTC, which, as you guessed, is going to dwarf this thing. So those are also very compact heads. If you're looking for justification for this as a tool addict person, it would be the plastic collar. Number one, limited edition in black. Number two, black. Number three, the collar. That's really what sets this apart. If for some reason you're a person that's like, oh, well, you know, all these people online or my coworker says, you know, rotos are the way to go, and you hate it. You just, oh, that free form just drives me nuts. It's never where I want it to be. This is why I use locking flex heads. I get it. This, as best I know, off the top of my head, I cannot think of another roto head or swivel head, depending on what you call them, that actually locks in position. To me, that's a limiting factor. For some people, it could be a big selling point. We are getting close to timing out here, so I think I'll just kill it and see how much time I have left. Plenty of time. No rush at all. So, what I want to do before I get away from it, this again versus the Tekton Again, if you see a handle and a head and design similar to this and it's really, really inexpensive, it came from the same factory. All right. In fact, I think we get a better comparison for you going down 90. We'll just try to keep them that way. The icon, kind of a unique length. That's one thing you kind of say about it, a little bit longer. They sort of do that with their wrenches and things. But if you have the icon and you're like, man, mine was great. And that was the thing. Some icon ratchets, Generation 1, were pretty good. Others suck. And the way they had them in the box, kind of like this Wera was, sealed up, inaccessible, I couldn't go through and play with them. With the G2s, even though they're much improved ratchet action, I go through all 5, 8, whatever on the shelf. I go find the end cap with them and I select. You know, I'll pick one ratchet out of 12. I'm that guy. With the icons, you couldn't do that. So it was a total crapshoot. They might have, you're like, hey, my 3/8 was great, but my quarter sucked. Well, my 3/8 sucks, but the quarter's actually pretty decent, right? Again, the biggest problem with these to me is simply they're outperformed by Pittsburgh for less money. So do with that information what you will. Again, the Koken, kind of a long sucker here, which is sort of cool. But again, if you're like, man, my 3/8 rotos are too big, the KTCs are kind of hard to find now, that actually looks like a really good size for me. Keep in mind with this Mac, this is 1/2 inch, but right there is kind of your comparison. Their 3/8, I assume, would be very, very similar to that. Now, in terms, why is that so quiet? 90 degrees down, and then straight on. That seems not bad. Let me switch directions here. You ready? Let's go 90 down. Oh, no, it's back to being quieter. Make it make sense. I will say, with this ratchet, if you want to go to town, all right, Wera does very cool stuff. These are Taiwanese sockets. They don't have German or Czech or anything like that to offer you, but take it easy tool finder, kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I have to get used to rotos that have quick releases. That's not the best fitment in the world. It's also not terrible, but this is what you would be pairing with it as your standard. If you're a huge Wera fanatic, right, and you want this and you plan to use it, that's what you're looking at. Some of you are like, oh, you can get around that by using a, yes, impact socket, right? So here's a little semi-deep 3/8 drive from Capri, and it keeps your black aesthetic if that's important to you for some reason. Might save on money what you're trading off, unless you have like a special sidewall. Your impact sockets are going to be a little fatter. You're thinking like, well, hey, I wish Wera had that with the Take It Easy tool finder. They totally do. This is impact rated, again, made in Taiwan. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just, you know, if you're thinking like, yeah, Czech Republic rules. Well, not in this case, they don't, but they do offer you a very affordable socket. All right. This is a 17 1/2 inch drive, which I can't fit it to the anvil for you, but you got to admit that's kind of a swanky aesthetic. In fact, this whole set here is on a belt clip. I think there's your green profiles there. This 13 is a ticket, isn't it? That's actually what I meant to grab, but I just went to the other corner by mistake. So, right here, that is kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. Like, not sure how it would hold up. I have not used these a ton. Not gonna lie, in part, I have this really cheap set that I just constantly use, and I don't really know why. I guess just because it sits on the floor. And it's the convenience. Let's see here. The 13 has been used a lot. It doesn't show up on camera well. The 17 that I had first, you can kind of see like some rust transfer. Maybe you can't. The 14, I think, looks like it's been used the most. It's kind of the cool dark purple color. But I would imagine these would hold up about like your Pittsburghs do. Maybe a little bit better. Again, people knock Pittsburgh impact sockets. I would assume these are equal or greater quality. And you get the bonus of the Take It Easy tool finder, which, try as you may, try as you might, steal all your wife or girlfriend's nail polish you'd like, you will never get it to look that good. This comes from a guy with a lot of experience trying to paint pen letters, paint marker letters, paint letters, paint gaps like this on impact sockets. It kind of looks good from a distance, but you get it up close and oh no, you see your shortcomings, Picasso. But right there again, they've worn, I would say, decently. I haven't really used them enough to be like, yeah, go that route. And I haven't used them enough to say, dude, avoid them, get something better, live with the take it easy tool finder contrast. So that covers your black impact route. And if you want to go with Wera sockets, which would be probably advisable. But as you know, I like to really test things. So we're going to take this Koken. This is a 3/8 drive semi-deep. That's pretty sloppy. Not the end of the world, going to be totally functional, but again, I just kind of like to give you a rough idea. This is icon on icon, also not great. The reason this looks a little better, it's also a semi-deep, is because it's actually just moving the whole head around. So let's stick this on and see what we get. That, okay, it's not. We must have caught it like a spot. Not terrible, but again, not great. Right here, what did I put on the Tekton? That actually has a sharp edge too. This looks like an SK. Hey, and that was quick release, and we just ripped it right off of there. Okay, that's actually, I know it's a shallow, so it's not going to have as much in play. That's the best fitment so far. It's funny how that works out. It's always subtle, but it's, you know, little changes here and there. So right here, this KTC, the standard one, it's got Nepros from KTC. So we'll stick this on. You know, if you could somehow get this rubber band in the Wera color, I think you could live with that. If you're just going max aesthetics here. In terms of fitments, not the best, but not terrible. All right. The long one, what we have on it is a KTC Deep, not Nepros, KTC. I'm going to stick that on. Yeah, everything's got real similar fitment on this sucker. Last but not least, and possibly a problem, this is a Koken Z-Series, right? Little stubby guy. You got to remember, this is 3/8. And let's see what we get, if we get it. That is, as you might have expected, the best fitment, irregardless of the length. Nothing I would come away with is like, whoa, you know, great. But nothing is egregiously bad, and that's really the takeaway from here. If I turn around, we've got to do this one. It's technically not a swivel head, but it's could be about as close as you get with a German company, right? So we're going to rip this 13 mil off from the Gedore and see how it does on the Wera. Not bad. I would say Koken Z-Series followed by SK. But again, the biggest takeaway, let's come back over to the icon. All right. There's nothing wrong with that. Yes, it's not great, but it's totally functional, totally serviceable. Bottom line, unless you've got something really bad or something really crazy or abused and damaged, whatever sockets you want to throw on this thing, you're probably going to be fine. As I've handled this, I am liking it more and more. I do 100% dig the aesthetic. I like this aesthetic way better than I thought I would. It just looks really good again. It looks so, I don't know, rock starish. Like you really would think that this, keep in mind, this is all I've got, so I don't have, you know, like, oh yeah, they all have the directions on how to use it. I would think that that's like kind of like a pinstripe, which would be super cool. But here they are side by side. Again, you're thinking like, whoa, you know, hey, that's a super compact head on this 3/8 black. It is and it isn't. The catch is this one that you'd think would be quarter drive, it's actually 3/8 drive, because if you don't know about this thing and you're thinking, what is going on there? Well, number one, you got magnets for socket retention. But number two, you have a hex profile there. So if we grab a bit of things, throw that in, check this out. Yeah, going to town, right? You're thinking like, hey, show me a socket real quick. I got to see this. Note, we have no ball detent, right? So if we take this, listen close. It's actually pretty decent fitment. I'm not going to lie. Not the greatest thing in the world. And this is a large socket for it. But a lot of people buy sets of these, you know, like in the classic Wera to-go system, you know, little canvas pouch with Velcro on it. I went for the tool only because, again, right here, same reasons. You know, it locks. You can see the ridges really well on this. That's your 90 degrees, your 15 degrees. This is your straight up. The way it catches there, you can't really see the mechanism, but just know that it's there. And very unique, very handy. Not quite as slim as I would like for pocket, definitely doable. The big selling point here, even though I didn't buy something crazy, look what you've got in the handle. You've got a bit carousel with a ton of potential. And no, that was not intended, but we just rocked the socket off. So if you're somebody who's constantly hated that, but been like, man, I wish there was something I could get that wouldn't do that. Well, you can get a proper retention by way of a locking mechanism on this standard Zyklop Speed. Again, this is surprisingly smooth. I'm quite impressed by that just because I was not expecting much. This isn't like earth-shatteringly great, but this is way better than I was thinking it would be. Similarly, again, in my opinion, this might be the best feature on it, just the spinning ability. Not in this orientation, but rather, again, straight-up screwdriver style. That's just really, really good. Again, typically, and this is why, like with the Gedore stuff, I took the breaker bar to work and I was like, man, you know, I spin a lot and I don't know if this is going to spin well. It does, but nothing, not as good as something round, and certainly not as fast as we'd get with that. This might sound crazy, but again, coming from a guy that's people have told me for years and years and years, you got to get one of these. If I could do anything with this, which I do dig the black, but I don't know the length on the 1/2 inch, okay? But assuming it's something akin to the Mac, or, you know, maybe even like halfway between these two, right? If I could get the 1/2 inch length with the 3/8 head, that would be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, because this is kind of small. Again, you're probably the thing you're most likely to have sitting around. Again, maybe not from Tekton, but from a similar brand. So yeah, it's just got a little bit more length on it. The icon, compared to what we'll just call the Pittsburgh, you can see just a smidge longer, right? This guy's small. Now that could be an advantage if you're like, man, I wish I could find a good roto head that was small. Well, if you don't want to do the KTC route, which this is their standard one, that's pretty much spot on there. This would be a very, very good solution for a lot of people. Again, do you want to collect it? Go that route, get them while you can. If you want to use it or you want to try the Zyklops, why not get the special limited edition black one? Now again, how limited is it? I don't know, but you got to admit it is pretty cool. So coming into this, I was afraid I would just absolutely bag on this thing, basically make it to where it's like, man, I don't really want to get that guy hates this thing. This actually outperformed my expectations. It looks way better than I thought it would, and I thought the looks would be the selling point, like the high point for me, because again, what kills this for me personally, and you may differ, in terms of a swivel head, I want freeform. Like if I want to just jump over that box lid, right? I want to be able to do that. I don't want to have to, let me articulate here, run, reclock, come down. No, I want to just freeform it like a breaker bar, right? This stays here and my hand and the handle just go wherever I have to clear. You know, if I don't want to ratchet and I just want to jump around 360 and clear a bracket here and a strut tower there, that's what I want to do. If you've ever thought to yourself, man, I wish I could just get a roto that would lock, because this, I'm not going to lie, is one of the huge selling points. Number one, total freeform of a roto. Number two is the ability to go straight up and literally treat this like a driver. Run it in, run it out. right? Again, all the way in, swivel back down, tighten, break it free, run it out. You can do that with this, it's just you completely give up the freeform abilities. I kind of want to get one of these and dismantle it. And I will tell you right now, if you're getting excited, I don't have the heart to do it to this one. I don't know. There could be millions of these. There could be 200 of them. I really don't know. But I don't want to tear this one up. I'm thinking, I don't know if I would just pry the lever off. All you'd have to do is get the holding mechanism out of there. Maybe you have to take the head off to do it. I don't really know. But if you did that and you just lost the locking mechanism, I would have the freeform here, and this could turn out to be like really, really good, actually. Very nice ratchet action, looks incredible, way better than I thought. The Wera green, the signature green, I don't know what it is. Now, I know this is plastic handle. I think with the luster of a metallic base, it just actually pops and stands out that much more. Like, it looks really, really good. I hope the camera conveys that with all this junk on the table. But I'm impressed by the aesthetics. I definitely, again, it seems so stupid that a little piece of plastic that you think would take away from the aesthetics, the chrome plating, you know, the satin chrome, the black finish, you know, I get it. It's plastic. It shouldn't be liked. It should be hideous. It makes such a nice addition to a tool like this. Same thing with the extensions. If you've never tried one of those, if you're on the fence with this, you know, like, and you're like, I'm not going to spend that kind of money to find out, pick out an extension. You can even find them, as you saw, with locks if you need something like kind of specialty. Try those out. I mean, it is interesting. Picture yourself, you know, you've probably come in, you know, you're tired at work or something, thinking about lunch. You got your impact, you know, and you got to take something and you chew up your hand a little bit, right? You're like holding this extension on. This totally prevents that. So, food for thought. I will say I think Wera missed the mark not doing a special, exclusive, limited edition sticker for us. I don't know what's up with that. But presentation, the packaging, it is legit. Right there, limited edition. Again, if we flip this around, you see those same selling points. What I want you to think of now is your bits, whether it's hex bits, maybe Wera's holding function stuff, right? You can come in and picture, again, you know, like a 4-inch 100mm hex bit, and you have that on here and you're using it in screwdriver mode. Then you can come in with the same tool, tighten, break it loose, run it out. Lots of pros here. It's just, to me, as cool as it is that this is unique and locks a roto head, I wish there was a way to not have that, whether it's two tools, you know, one that locks and one that doesn't, or, you know, if they could integrate like a little punch through type of a thing that would lock this lock down so it would just be truly freeform. You can see it can do it, all right, but as soon as I let go and it gets into one of its predetermined positions, she's hung up, right? So again, if we had the ability to have like a secondary switch to lock that, or just not buy it and maybe save money not having that mechanism, that would be cool. Because again, what's crazy to me, it's kind of like stubby wrenches. Great tool, you know, you're thinking like super useful. Can't get it from Staville, can't get it from Hazette, can't get it from Gedore, you know, outside of like weird things like electric wrenches and aren't what we're talking about. The roto heads just don't seem to be prevalent enough to manufacture over there. You know, Taiwanese import maybe, you know, but maybe that's why they don't do it. It's not lucrative, not enough of a demand, wasn't ingrained in the population. Wera does it. As best I know, again, this is made in the Czech Republic. That totally sets them apart, having it lock. But at the same time, I wish it was freeform. So, even coming in over here, parts counter fodder with a little Titan stuff. What's great about this? Freeform. You know, it's just what a roto is. That's like the big selling point to me. I treat them like a breaker bar. I wouldn't want my breaker bar to lock in various positions. Maybe I'd want to buy a specialty one that does, specifically for like a particular application that I'm going to encounter over and over again, be that production runs, be it something in the manufacturing process or servicing a machine or a vehicle. yeah, that has merit, that has a selling point. For the average person, I think the Roto's beauty is the freeform capability of a breaker bar coupled with a much more compact ratcheting mechanism than an adapter. That said, as much as I thought this was going to kind of be like a downer video, I'm actually pretty impressed by this thing. So, yeah, do I regret not buying one of these years ago? I have seen him come up on Tool of the Day, you know, in like the canvas pouches with the sockets or the bits or something. I just knew by the design that I wasn't going to be like super into it, regardless of how great the ratchet was, and I never bought it. I always had it on the list to pick one up. It was always like, yeah, you know, if I ever run out of ideas or something, I'm going to try that. And then the black, and not knowing, you know, like the limited or the end run or anything, and needing something to get the bottle opener, I was like, let's do it. And so here we are. But with that said, it has gotten not too late, just a little, about 9:20. But I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go work out, maybe edit some previous videos, maybe this one, I guess, since I might upload it Saturday, because it is special, but it's important to me to get it out because these are still available. Case in point, I've watched the 3/8 in particular seem to go out of stock and stay out of stock the longest. There is currently one. Okay, quarter drive, half-inch drive, if you're thinking like, man, that would be perfect in quarter, or hey, I actually love those in quarter and 3/8. Sadly, they're not broken. I don't need to replace them yet. I want to get the half-inch in that black. That's killer. There's 2 of those available. So 2 quarters, 1 3/8, 2 half. Have fun. Do I make anything if you buy? I'll link them too. Do I make anything off of it? No. They're not affiliate links. I don't have anything to gain from this. And in fact, I think overall, my strongest thing to you is I know there's a ton of Wera people. The black looks really good in person, better than I thought it would. I thought it would be cool. It looks better than I thought. The Ratchet Action is what really impressed me. I wasn't expecting much. I'm pretty particular with rotos and ratchets at this point in my life. I've had like junk all the way to the most expensive stuff and everything in between, and that is actually way better than I thought. The downside to me again is just no freeform, and if I could take that away, well, you know, hey, this might be something. The screwdriver handle, you're either going to love it or hate it. I think with the Roto, it makes a ton of sense. You know, like if you were coming in here with this, would I prefer a screwdriver handle over that profile? Yes. Do I think this is cool with the sort of Easter egg and their signature look? Yeah, I do. It's slippery, it's heavy, it's not really that comfortable to me. If I could put a screwdriver handle on that from like a Phillips 3 or something, I would be so much happier. This has that, and being a roto head, it makes a ton of sense, especially with that speed collar. I think they're calling it flywheel. I've always just kind of called it like a speed collar, but hey, it seems gimmicky, it seems stupid. That is one that is actually very functional and very appreciable, especially in screwdriver mode, straight up, straight down type of a thing. So again, if you don't want to, even black, you could go and get the standard one, which is slightly cheaper. That's the other thing. This isn't a huge jump in price, but I'm promising you, just pick out an extension, whether it's a length you don't have, if you need a locker or something, and get a feel for the plastic, because it does look really stupid. It looks gimmicky, but it's actually kind of a cool feature. So that said, I have never cracked one. I used to use this a lot, and then I kind of got some other stuff, and it just kind of hung out in the drawer, but they've been pretty dadgum good. So in the video description, I will link to the standard 3/8. Again, I don't know when these are going to go. I did ask Colin, you know, because I was trying to get numbers. Like, I want to know there's 5,000 of these. Just like, oh, geez, you probably got all the time in the world. Let's see if they hit clearance or something. But I don't know. Truly do not know. If you wanted this, you probably already bought it. If somehow you missed it, it got through the cracks, you were unaware of it, I would go now. You know, you probably wait, try to catch it on sale. If you ever see it on Tool of the Day or something, maybe a Black Friday pickup for you. If you got local places, Wera increasing their footprint in brick and mortar stores. VHA, you've been able to find that for years. Knipex, of course, but Wera, more and more places carrying it. If you got a local store you don't go to often or something, there's a chance they may have them. But again, I just want you to know this exists in the event that you're a collector, or again, kind of like the bottle opener and the Keytag gifts, right? Makes sense this time of year. But yeah, what I want to know from you is, what do you think of this ratchet? In particular, I know a ton of you will not just have this, but will have had the Zyklop Speed. It'd be a quarter, 3/8, or half. You probably had it for quite some time. How do you like it? Do you find advantages to the locking, or do you find it extremely annoying because you're used to traditional freeform stuff? Similarly, what are your thoughts on the black? Personally, I think it looks killer. Granted, I think the standard default satin chrome would actually look pretty good too, but the black is cool. Next question: if you picked this up, or you're going to pick it up, is it exclusively as a collectible? Is it going to stay in the box and you're going to hold it away for a rainy day? Is it going to go on display, like people will see it, but you'll never touch it, never use it? Or are you like, hey, that's going to be my daily driver. You know what? My 3/8, the head broke off. It's kind of a pain to replace it. I'm just going to get the black one. Let me know. It's always interesting to kind of know. Sealed, putting away, sitting out, display piece, topic, conversation starter, or I love it, it looks so good, how could I not use it? That would be criminal. So, but like I said, real world experience with the Zyklop Speed, regardless of drive size. Feel free to fill people in. Most importantly, like, how does it compare? You're like, you know what, I love it, it's way better than the Pittsburgh. It's, yeah, it's, I'd say, better than the Pittsburgh, but the price point, you got to go back to Pittsburgh. Whatever you want to throw out there, feel free to do it. With that said, I better get inside. I do hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned a little something. That's kind of the end goal here. Again, timestamps were there for a reason. If you don't want to see socket fitment, if you don't want to see length comparisons, you do you. In terms of that, I was going to give you an OAL on this thing, but I do not see a tape measure. What have I done? No clue. So we'll end on that note. But LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. If you have not subscribed, I encourage you to do so. I will tell you right now, I have another Roto Ratchet from a brand that I've not gotten to showcase because we have not hit the 10,000 subscriber mark. I'll let you figure out what that brand might be, but it starts with a snap and ends with an on. So if you've been watching, lurking, I would encourage you to subscribe. I would love to release those videos. Some of them are like 2.5 to 3 years old at this point in time. So yeah, that would be great. But gotta say, this is better than expected. The aesthetics, which I thought I'd like, they're better. The Ratchet Action is actually really good, surprisingly. And if I could just lock this and still have the ability to lock it if I wanted to, which I don't think I ever would, I'd be a content dude. But yeah, maybe I'll find one of these on blowout, closeout type of a thing, and we'll dissect it, see if we can do away with that. Because if it has ratchet action like this, it might actually be worth picking up, particularly like dedicated bit action type of a thing. So anyway, I'll quit rambling. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Most importantly, I hope I catch you back here for more action from the shop.